Scott, and we are, well, in the set of Home of Enchantments, the immersive experience at Overlook Film Festival in New Orleans. Home of Enchantments is a supernatural series, a scripted series for TV, and it's based on a home that has magical elements that's on a portal of the supernatural and the material. And all the residents who are broken heroes, who are people that are survivors, which I find, in my personal opinion, that's the most attractive. People that are survivors are recovering addicts, single moms working 5 jobs, the dads trying to keep, just the working people, the struggling people, the people that are not really talked about, the people that have compromised or followed a path because they had to, compromise their dreams, and but there's magic in them, and I'm so attracted to tell their stories. And so my character, which is Belle, she's the protagonist. At the top of the series, the pilot called The Fool's Journey, it opens with her coming back home after abandoning her home for 15 years. And she abandons it because she grew up with her mother helping people, bringing strangers. She comes from a lineage of healers, which are the Sethians. And they are healers that are mediums. For me, I was more interested in talking about the ancient history of alchemy and beyond, like, the spirituality within the human being in the universe, opposed to just focus on a certain, I guess, to be frank, it's a big turnoff for me as a creator, as a human being, when I come across things that are very cliche, or small ideas, or the work hasn't really been developed because of the lack of accurate history, or the lack of depth within a false narrative based on false history. That, for me, especially as an immersive creator and also as a writer with the Supernatural series, like, for me, that was so important that I had to go as back as possible, 5,000 years ago, to reach to the Sethians, so that these people that you meet in the lineage, which is my character, and her mother who passes away, and the reason why she comes back is because of the death of her mother, that they come from a lineage of healers that is beyond anything that we know. And I'll refrain from using these words in respect for what people believe in, but what I'm saying is what we know, what I believe is the supernatural, and the light is within everyone. And the opportunity of Home of Enchantment is when my mother, meaning my character's mother, saves people or brings these people in Home of Enchantments, the people that are damaged or hurt, they awaken their own supernatural. So it's these broken people that become our broken heroes that then become heroes for the rest of the world. I was really excited about having the opportunity to create an immersive experience, like especially a one-on-one, where a participant, a guest, was able to witness the the demise of this character who has supernatural gifts of light. And because she denied who she was, for 15 years she tried to follow her own path, which was a disaster. So when you meet Belle here at Overlook, it's right before the series starts, the scripted series. And she's at a crossroads, and her mother just passed. And so you, the guest, you're able to help her decide her path. Does she go back home to the Home of Enchantments to fulfill her destiny, or does she continue to follow her path? And that's the at least the experience that I won't reveal much here, but why the immersive creation. My goal as a creator with immersive work, especially, is here's a scripted series with 10 episodes ready to go, right? And the ideal is to have Home of Enchantments, the immersive show, while the series is happening. Not use immersive creators or immersive performers as a marketing tool. Not like, oh, here's a premiere, let's run it at a hotel for a couple of days or maybe a day. And I understand why that's done, but immersive performers and immersive creators, immersive experiences is an art form in its own. I've been doing it for a while, and I have also worked in TV and film and stage. It is a completely different art form. What we do as performers, it takes such a special skill. It is beyond any comfort. It is complete giving. And to be able to make a statement and say, hey, the immersive creations and immersive work should be as valued with, I'm talking about financial, but also as a statement in creating experiences as a scripted series. I understand the reality of our world right now, and I understand a lot of people have to catch up. But my goal in this, and the reason I'm here, is to say, hey, you're just meeting the protagonist of a scripted series. Here, one-on-one. If you'd say, what is my ultimate goal? Is to have Home of Enchantments happening while the series is happening. So you can watch it on any of these networks and then get a ticket and experience the characters that you just saw. For however run, 3 months, 6 months, it's not. The point is, it should be more than just a marketing tool because we deserve more. That's why. And in Sleep No More, I didn't realize what I was discovering. Like that, I was just being. And because the character is this healer, is this oracle within the show, which I'm sure you've been to Sleep No More, there's a lot going on. So what happens when they would find my character, Annabella, it wasn't something that I put on them where this is who I am, this is what it was. It became all about the guest. And for the first time, that guest who just wanted to talk, they were actually talking to a character, and I would tell them stories, but not about me. It became about them. And when Sleep No More opened the garden, that happened in the garden. All the plantings and one-on-ones became about this plant, this herb is for someone that you lost. Those herbs that they planted are still here 6 years later. They're still there. The sage, the lavender. And people would, what I discovered was, if you give someone a chance to say, I'm listening, this is about you. I am a vessel to hear you. And that is the most beautiful immersive experience. Because theater and performances and storytelling, when you open that book, you create a world. But what we're doing in live immersive, right, in theater, but specifically in immersive theater, and most of my work obviously was one-on-ones for 6 years? And what I discovered is it's never about your narrative. I know I was in 1939 at the McKittrick Hotel, and I was an orphan in that hotel, and that I was lost within the walls, and now I'm here. I knew the narrative. You would never break that narrative. But immersive theater is not about the narrative. The meta-narrative, we're all going through that. There are beats that is undeniable when it's designed well. You create those beats so water can flow. The water is the human soul and the emotion that's flowing. So those beats and the narrative and the story is that bowl where now you and I, performer and guest, now we get to be together in ways that will never happen again. With the thousands and thousands of people that sat across from me at Sleep No More and other immersive experiences, it will never happen again. They hold something that they hold there, and they say it's my character. But what it really is I was able to find something in Sleep No More that when I was opposite a guest, they started unfolding. And I wasn't prying. I wasn't saying, this is about me, now come, let me tell you a story. You know, that's a different experience and a good one too. But what I learned in those years of, I would say, you know, on the front lines, okay, was it is the best immersive work. It has nothing to do with you as a performer. That's a selfish performer. If you have a guest opposite you and you're trying to shove something and you want to make them believe, then you're not in flow with what immersive work is. Immersive work is about the guest. It is about listening to their breath and their heartbeat. And that allowed me to discover, my times in Sleep No More allowed me to discover the value in the intimacy and the detail of a touch, of a gesture, of a look, of a pull away. You know, and immersive work is like cinema. It's film, right? I pull away and you feel that. I come close, the camera's this close. I'm looking at you here. I touch you. And that touch has meaning. That touch, when was the last time that you were touched that way? When was the last time that you shared something that you lost with another being on this planet, the way they shared with me? So because of my experience in understanding the value of work that is way beyond anything that our brains can write. We can write the tech and the detail and we can hold it together, but you know what we can't write? You never know who's opposite you. You never know what they need. And so how do you know? By just showing up, listening, and providing a different narrative in that moment that will ultimately lead in respect of the narrative. I make sure you're not supposed to see what's behind the curtain, right? You're supposed to walk in and everything unfolds. But the months and years of work, just so that you think everything is organic, like every single prop in this room, every single hiccup, every single fall, every single moment is designed so that you could have that experience. Now, what you're asking is the me as an actor, and that applies for the work that I did here in Home of Enchantments as the prologue to the series. This character is a wreck. Starts as a wreck. She's taking pills, mixing it with other substances, physically got spiritually beaten, and that's why the guest is asked to help. So the character it starts at that space of vulnerability, and in a matter of 20 minutes has to get to the complete other state of madness. And in Home of Enchantments, I play 3 characters within 20 minutes, and that's physical, voice, and I need to hit some beats in certain moments that is so important that the guest can live it out. And I come from the world of, whether it's stage, you have a responsibility that if you want someone, if it's a Broadway stage, a Broadway audience, if it's film, if I want them to have an experience, which is, I'm saying that I'm an artist and I'm an actor, I have a responsibility, if I'm going to be on that stage, to live up to that. Because that person who paid $1,000 tickets, $410 tickets, or even a comp, they want you to succeed. They want to have an experience. No one is going against you. So they're praying that you move them in ways that maybe their lover can't even have them moved, or their parent or their closest sibling. And they see something on stage and they're like, I'll remember that till my last breath. And why? Because you as a performer, you have to have that experience. If not, you're a fraud. You can't allow me to say, I'm going through something, if you're not going through something. Now, there are many different performers that do it in many different ways. The way I do it is, if I want you to believe that I'm a wreck, then I gotta be a wreck. I mean, obviously, the character at the top of this show at Overlook, she has woken up from being spiritually beaten and she's all pilled up. Clearly, I wasn't spiritually beaten and I don't take any pills. So, like, there's obviously the technical, but the insides need to be wired in a certain way so that when you see me, when I called you for help, that you need to be like, it's on. And if you can't say it's on, then I have failed you as a performer. So the best compliment I got last night, and this is not revealing anything, was I was there in that first state when they come and meet me at the Olivier Hotel. And this woman came up and she looked at me. I started laughing. I looked at her. Because also once I'm on, the narrative is out the window. It's all about the way you're treating me in the point of view of the character. She comes in, she's laughing. I said, why are you laughing? And I was a wreck, trust me. She goes, because you're a wreck. I mean, at the moment in the character, I looked at her and I said, how dare you? I ask you to come and help me, and you see someone who's holding on for the last breath and you say I'm a wreck? This was a mistake. I got up and left, and she freaked out, and of course, we made it right. Clearly, I wasn't going to leave. But the point is, that was the best compliment. Yes, I achieved it. I was a wreck. So I guess the point is, like, that for me, when I was back to myself at 2 a.m, I was like, wow, that was awesome. She thought I was a wreck. But the point is, clearly, even that is, I have to keep the truth of this experience. As soon as I said that, she was here with me. She went from this is a game of immersive and I'm going to poke and have fun to like, how dare you? You see a human being that's asking you to help you? Who are you? And that is the experience that she gave me and I gave it back. Without being hurtful or emotionally, I was in that world. Another example is there was another person that came through and I met them again. That starting point was created and designed specifically so I can suss them out. And I wanted to give them a chance to say, do you want to be this? And as soon as I come back, I understand. So this is important because it has to do with how the guest is more important, the participant is more important than you. And you do not need to throw away your narrative and your beats because you need to change it to guide and be there for the participant. There was someone that I saw that was incredibly sensitive, a beautiful man, and I knew that if he were to see the certain things that come out of me in here, that it wasn't going to be good for him. And out of everyone, he was in such a delicate state that I was able to come back and I instinctually know this is too much for him. It's not going to be good for where he's at. And so I gave him the experience, but I chose the entity of light. And he got the same experience, and it was a beautiful one for him because of what he said at the end to me privately. But I knew that there's certain elements that you have to be water. Like Bruce Lee. You have to be water. You have to be able to say, okay, this is how much they're willing to go. I am not important here. They are important. They are looking for the experience. And to answer your question, which is like the 20-minute long answer, to answer your question of like, how is this possible to re-engage, to get into that state and that dark state and this and do it over and over again for 8 to 9 hours here? I think about them. Because the first day I was here and I saw the lists of reservations and it was like, up to, it's one-on-ones and 30-minute one-on-ones, close to 30 minutes, 25 slots. And I said, how am I physically going to be capable to break down, to get here, to get there in a matter of, for 9 hours straight? And I was like, I don't know. This is not like someone sharing tea and telling a story and breaking down in a story. This is complete madness here, and it has to be or else I didn't do my job. And so I have to go there. So when I looked at that list, immediately I said, well, this is not about me. This is about them. These people, I need to tell them something. So every single experience and all my energy was invigorated every single time. Because if I made it about me, I don't know anyone that could have lasted for 9 hours with that state of mind. And I discovered again, like, wow, this is about the people that are in the audience. This is about, and what we do in immersive work, which is such a blessing. This is about me and them. And if I take the attention off of me and make it all about them and what they need, and look at their eyes and feel their touch, and maybe they need the dance, or maybe they didn't need that heavy possession, or maybe they needed a different story within my narrative, and they leave with an experience that is designed for them, within my own design. And that's why every single one was a different show. No one that experienced this had the same experience, because it was not about me. It was about them. They wanted to share something about their lives with me. And I took that, and I know what they needed. And so as long as an immersive creator, as long as you as an artist make it about the person that's there, wanting something, trusting you. There's so much trust when a guest comes in. They're like a child. They're like anything you want. So as a creator and as a performer, you have a responsibility to respect that. You have a responsibility to honor that, right? To say, okay, this is someone who's open to me, and so I have to be so delicate with them, listen to them. Is it okay if I do this? And is it okay if I look at them? And just by looking, everything is unfolding. And then you start re-unfolding. And so that keeps me alive for hours, because it's always about them. It's always about them. And once you make it about you, that's not immersive work. Once you make it about, this is my show, this is my narrative, this is my story, you might as well give them a book, really, because they're not there to read a book or to experience your narrative in that context, in 2D. They're there to have a spiritual experience, something that you don't even know you have, and they don't even know they're about to have. So you, as a vessel and as a creator and as an artist, you have a responsibility to be that for them. And how do you be that? You have to listen, and you have to make the show about your guest. And I want to just say the reason I'm here at Overlook, in this experience, yes, for everything I shared, to be able to give something special to your guest, but because I believe that it's time that immersive art, immersive creation, specifically the work as actors and as creators, as designers that we do, need to, it's my ultimate goal that the work that we do is not something of a pop-up or a marketing tool. Quite frankly, I find that offensive. I do. I think that I know that there are other colleagues and artists that are grateful for opportunities to show their work. But the immersive art form, immersive performers are unlike any other actors. Great actors I know cannot do immersive performances. Actors I highly respect will not enter this arena. So this arena needs to be valued as much as my scripted series. So it's my goal to ultimately have a home of enchantments that can be as alive, as successful in an immersive experience, in immersive theater, immersive art, in every way that we know that we can do, as much as a supernatural TV series. And the value in our work as actors is valued the same. So someone has to start it, Someone has to start this ball rolling of like changing the narrative for us as creators. Like we, and also the value in our worth, What I love about the Overlook Film Festival is the opportunity that they're, and the actual value that they've given immersive creators. And I'm so grateful for that. So where you can find me would probably be, I mean, you can find me if you just look my name up, but yeah, you can just go to my website, avaleescott.com. But yeah, so I hope to see you in Home of Enchantments, the immersive show.